Hello and welcome. My name is William. I am doing another update on the CR 2023-0040 first degree murder case. It's insane. Now, sadly, we're back to a wonderful world of craziness and insanity, but this is a wonderful picture of the Apache County Superior Courthouse. It's filled with, in my opinion, crooks, criminals, and everything else. I'm going to try to keep this short. My first video I did, 45 minutes. I go on. So anyways, I want to let you guys know, hi. I filed a motion back in July to seal my court records according to the rules, plus get all the court transcripts. And I asked for a lawyer. Judge Whiting ignored that request for 120 some odd days. November 7th, he finally decided to rule on the motion. October 26th, because I filed a controversial motion, the judge decided to ignore that, even though he violated the rules of the court. How do you have a judge allowed to violate its own rules? This judge has continued to do it. Garrett Whiting has continued to violate constitutional, the Arizona Constitution, the U.S. Constitution, Arizona laws. There's a lot of allegations against Mr. Whiting that he's going to be in a lot of world of crap. Some of the stuff I can prove, some of the stuff I can't. I'm getting documentation together and video evidence, just like I am against Celeste Robertson and that whole crew, and even other people. My first degree murder stems from a fact that somebody supposedly called the sheriff's department and didn't remember that phone call. And then we go on from there. They didn't even talk to that witness other than by the phone. And he's a local. He's been accused of being an assassin, which is totally incomprehensibly stupid. And I've been accused of being a first-degree murderer. I am in conspiracy with myself to commit murder, with no overt act or anything else. Judge Whiting had the opportunity. He had 60 days, according to the rules of the criminal court and the court of Arizona, to make a ruling on my July 7th, I think it was, 7th motion to seal my records and turn over the court documents. He refused to. He waited until I filed another motion, October 26th, which then accuses him of his criminal malfeasance and his problems. He is making those accusations. So rather than have that become part of court record, Judge Whiting is covering his butt. And he sealed the records when I requested a new judge because he's failed to do his job. He gets paid $186,000 a year not to work. That is public record, by the way. And he's an appointed judge. So because he knows the right person or whatever, there's a lot of people, and even his peers, say he's not even qualified to be a judge because of some of his rulings. I believe there has been 3 jury trials right now that have been overturned because of his. They actually had to vacate, not even allow it to go to the appellate judge, because Apache County did not want the public record of the judge telling me I wasn't allowed to be at my own jury trial. Yes, the Judge Garrett Whiting, held parts of my jury trial without me knowingly, intelligently waiving my presence. The judge held it illegally. How can this person even sit in judgment when he doesn't even understand the law? He violated a fundamental right. So, as far as I'm concerned, this person is horrible. That's not the only thing he's done. And I am going to work very hard at holding him criminally responsible for his actions. I have contacted Department of Justice, and I am turning over files and documentation that I have, and the requests that I've made that the clerk of the courts has denied. And this goes back to my wonderful motion. So I filed a motion to seal my records and turn over all the court recordings for my case. Once again, yeah, Apache County covering it up. Aren't they learning anything from Round Valley? Oh wait, they were a part of Round Valley and all that stuff too. So we're not done yet. This is the criminal activity goes up much higher, and it still is at the district attorney's office. Just because we have a new person there doesn't mean the criminal activity is stopped. I actually think it's worse. From what I have been told, they have placed a child rapist inside as an acting prosecutor in the county attorney's office. And it's not hard to dig up, and the victim even had a conversation with me, and I sort of believe it's true. Now, this is my opinion, and we're not done with what we're doing yet. Oh, no. But here is my motion. I filed in the state of Arizona that the judge decided doesn't matter because it came after the fact that he decided not to do his job. So in trying to compel him to give me a court hearing on the 2023 case 40 first-degree murder, the judge refused to acknowledge this motion because he failed to do his job within the 60 days, which was appointed by the rules of this court, 91E, I believe it is. And then I made a big deal of that in this motion here, and also to the fact that, that you guys, that Apache County was trying to put me in jail for 30 years plus, and it's a fundamental constitutional right, assistance of counsel underneath the 6th Amendment, Gledian versus Wainwright. This right requires the state to provide a defense attorney. Requires them. This judge has tried to remove my right to a lawyer at every turn. Judge Whiting has tried to say, well, if you're so smart, go it alone. They're trying to get me to defend myself from inside county jail by providing me with a lawyer who actually works as a prosecutor, John Lee. And at the time, he was a prosecutor in St. John's and a defense attorney up in Superior Court. And then when I questioned him about it, he said that that's a threat. And then the judge told me I didn't have a right to a lawyer. So they tried to solicit a plea deal out of me where they forced me to move out of the state of Arizona. Sadly, I figured out that without legal advice that I wasn't allowed, if they take away my right to a lawyer, then they can't put me in prison. They can't take away any liberties. They can find me guilty all day long, but they can't do anything to me. There is no punishment they can do. So that would have made the case overturnable. They were just trying to elicit a plea deal out of me. So then we moved on to another lawyer that he told me, and he stated that I wasn't allowed to talk to. It's funny. And then my paid lawyer in another case, he told me I wasn't allowed to talk to him either. See, he doesn't want any of this out on record. See, because I had a harassment case in misdemeanor court. I had a felony aggravated assault and a felony first-degree murder. In September, he told me I wasn't allowed to talk to my lawyers, even the court-appointed ones. Are you serious? And this is supposedly after he ruled that one of my lawyers was going to testify against me, even though he was never going to testify against me. Can you say that they set this up so that way they could put one of their puppets in the case? And then I get notification from these lawyers that the judge tells them that they're not allowed to file special actions. How much more judicial interference can we have? And this is the same judge who's still on one of my cases. And it's funny, he's corrupt. In my opinion, he's the biggest corrupt judge in the world. We know he's for sale. And I have people coming up to me when I go shopping in Springerville. Oh yeah, Judge Whiting's on the tape. Judge Whiting's this, Judge Whiting's that. I'm not soliciting it from these people. They literally come up and say, oh yeah, I know about it. How? The people at his own bank know about it. The people at Bash's know about it. The people at Safeway know about it. They're coming up and telling me stories about things that he's doing in cahoots with other people. You wouldn't believe it. So we're going to go through this. I kept it on the screen so you guys can do it. I talked a little bit, but I requested a lawyer in writing, and this is the motion. I've been denied this counsel, and I've never done it knowingly, intelligently, and of course you have to put that in there. Now, I'm not a lawyer. I'm nowhere near an expert lawyer, and I'm horrible at a lot of things. So, unfortunately, I wasn't allowed to have legal defense, and because the county has decided to perpetrate a case against me illegally with prosecutorial misconduct and then dismiss those charges without any reason whatsoever. And the reason was they didn't have a case. And I'm going to be posting all of the court documents at this point that I have. There's a lot that I don't have, including the evidence that Celeste Robertson filed an affidavit in this case that said that she turned over an audio recording, which she never did, which Judge Garrett Whiting is now covering up because he refuses to turn over the record. The clerk of court, I've made numerous FOIA requests. They have refused to turn over the record, and it's never been given to any one of my lawyers that I paid or public defenders. I've requested it from everybody, and it's been, well, we don't have it on the defense side. But there's an affidavit from Celeste Robertson stating that she turned it over. Now, is Judge Whiting trying to cover up the criminal activities of Celeste? Absolutely. Is he going to be held accountable? Who knows? I'm going to have to take a long time. Sadly, nobody wants to go after a sitting judge, even if they're this corrupt. I mean, we have a lot of corrupt judges up here, and a lot of people will be agreeing with that. So we'll go through this. So, the defense attorney of the record, Ben Brewer, he was confirmed to be off the case in June of 2025 because I was told I couldn't file a motion because the clerk of the court says, well, you have a lawyer on this case. But then when I went to go talk to him, he said he wasn't on my case. And so then I go back to the courts and say, well, he goes, that's not what we show. Unfortunately, the clerk of the courts makes up lies. And that's going to come up too because now we have a motion or an order that the clerk of the courts has openly filed false documentation and certification that they mailed it. They tried to get me so I couldn't file my motion, my notice of claim against the city, against the county, because I'm suing them. I'm suing the judge, I'm suing the district attorney, I'm going after them all, okay? Every last one of them. I have 180 days from November 7th. Now, technically it's from today because I was never notified of it. Now, we'll get on that. Anyways, sorry, I'm going all over the place. So, we're back to this. So they mailed him, they electronically sent him because the court ruled against double jeopardy and other court procedural errors. Of course, it's not going to find itself in error of any type of procedures, but it's horrible. That's why they had to vacate the conviction. But they want to use the conviction against me even though there is no conviction. It's kind of screwy. You got to love this court. They're double talk, and they're horrible people. So they emailed it underneath the 40 case, a ruling on the 310 case because nobody could figure out the difference between 2023 0040 and 2023 0310 or 2021 0310. They couldn't find the difference between them. And this judge has always been merging these cases together, yet but trying to keep them separate because they don't relate to each other, even though he was probably paid to prosecute both of them. And he is a prosecutor. I believe he doesn't work as a judge. He is not impartial. He is definitely biased. He is, in my opinion, definitely part of the Apache County corruption and part of the people who offered to make my case go away for $50,000, which I believe came from the district attorney's office, but the district attorney's office refuses to do anything about that, even though I was approached and all that other good stuff. It's amazing what the district attorney's office is refusing to do. So, the last record of that was there. Okay, now we have violation of constitutional time limits. Okay, here is the time frame. So, on July 5th, I'm sorry, I said it was July 7th, July 5th. In August, they waited a month. It was actually towards the end of the month before they asked for a background check. Unfortunately, they already had a background check because they did it in the 310 case. And there was nothing there. They had to come up with stuff that was illegal for them to even consider. And then the probation office, who supposedly is an independent agency, which it isn't, decided to omit the information that they were given, that all charges were dismissed with prejudice because I didn't commit them from when I was a kid. So it kind of made them look really bad. But I did talk to the state that issued the report and said, and they even told them that they weren't allowed to release this information publicly. But Apache County does what it wants to do because it's wonderful corruption. So we're back to this. And the probation officer recommended I get 15 years. 15 years. And he didn't even understand that this was being charged as a nonviolent, non-dangerous crime. Now, how do you get aggravated assault with a nonviolent, non-dangerous, with a deadly weapon? I don't understand. Nobody understands. Nobody understands a lot about this case, and they tell me things that don't happen. The delay is a violation of the Arizona Constitution. Article 6, Section 21, which explicitly states, every matter submitted to a judge of the Superior Court, which he is, for his decision shall be decided within 60 days of the submission of the thereof. I filed it July 5th. Now let's say we give them till August. I filed my motion, it was like August 20th or something like that. I filed my motion October 26th. This is the motion that I'm going to show you right here, or I'm showing you right here, that the judge decided is mute and doesn't exist. He violated my right to due process, Rule 8. Okay? They never read me my Miranda rights, even though they've questioned me, and the DA investigator has willfully and intelligently violated my constitutional rights to a right to a lawyer because I'm legally represented on the 310 case by Benjamin Brewer, and here we go again. They came to my house and tried to question me. I told them to leave, him and a sheriff department. They refused to leave. There's people who don't understand these are people who are enforcing the law, and they can't even adhere to the law. And they violate the court rules. How is a DA investigator going to violate the attorney-client and the rights of a person to have a lawyer present? I have a wonderful video of it. It's great. And we're definitely, when that matter comes up, they think it's going to go away. The video is going to come out that shows that I stated at the beginning, you need to leave my property, and I request that my lawyer, who is on file, Ben Brewer, to be present during any questioning. And they continue to stay in question. So, once again, more bullshit out of Apache County. This is what your tax dollars are going for. Violation of the Fifth Amendment. Nobody read me my Miranda rights. They had lack of evidence. I was charged with first-degree murder. No attempt was made, no ever act was completed. The victim was never contacted. Never. She couldn't even legally testify at her own murder case, which she is supposedly a victim. I bet you didn't know that. Rule 605 or 603 or something like that. You have to have direct knowledge. She had no direct knowledge because another POS guy decided to tell her that I supposedly did this and that happened, but nobody can back up or substantiate. So this is just $500,000 the county wasted of taxpayer dollars on a rumor that they could have verified very quickly, because if you're going to do an investigation for murder for hire, don't you put a wire on and just say, hey, go in there? See, but they knew it. Joshua Polk knew it. Deputy Polk knew it was a farce. He was told by supervisors not to pursue his case. It violated state law and Apache County procedures. He was told that by a ranking officer and member. I have a sworn statement on that. It's great. That's coming out too. So we have exculpatory testimony. Guess what? Douche. They testified, and then they waited until 2024 to dismiss the case. Witness tampering. They threatened. Witness holding of discovery. All this stuff. Judicial and proprietary misconduct, prosecutorial misconduct. You know what? And it is. We already know. Take a look at the Apache County Attorney's Office. You already got some people under indictment. Other people tried to profit from it. And she extorted Apache County for what, $600,000? And then it is nothing. Got nothing. Moved on and somewhere else. And it's criminal. This is criminal what's going on and what they're doing with your money. Okay? John Lee isn't on it. He should not be a public defender because he is a public prosecutor that works for the defense and works very hard at violating people accused of crimes' rights. He is a horrible, in my opinion, one of the most horriblest people I've ever met. And he's good at getting you a plea deal. He did. He got me 5 years probation. They wanted first-degree murder, 5 years probation. That's a plea deal that is unheard of. 5 years probation for first-degree murder. I have the court documents on that, too. That's Apache County, and they're wonderful that I am a criminal and I need to be held without bond because I was supposedly charged with a felony while on felony release. So none of my time counted for the first 2 years. More criminal acts done by Judge Garrett Whiting. Kidnapping. And it is. It's kidnapping. It was kidnapped by his order. The question is, who ordered him? Misconduct by the justice in the court. I requested a hearing, a jury trial, in February 2023. I requested it several times. He ignored me. He didn't give me my right. Then, without a court hearing, well, he did have a court hearing. He had a court hearing with John Lee while I was in misdemeanor court with my other lawyer that I wasn't allowed to talk to because the judge ordered it from this court that I wasn't supposed to talk to him, but he was the one representing me in misdemeanor court, which is really interesting. Another illegal judicial order and judicial misconduct and criminal activities. And the list goes on here. This is so outlandish and insane. It is. It's crazy. So, we have law enforcement misconduct. We have Joshua Polk, who lied on the stand. We have Andrew Arona, who lied on the stand. Joshua Polk had to keep changing the dates from the initial hearing to the preliminary hearing to the proof evident hearing. And then the judge told me at least 3 times, December 2023, January 2024, and September of 2023, that I was guilty of first-degree murder. Now, a year later, he actually signs the order without any reason of the prosecutor dropping the charges. And now, he ignores, because he failed to follow the rules of criminal procedure and failed to follow the rules of the court. I filed this motion October 26th. It was accepted October 26th. I asked for these issues to be heard because the judge has been violating my constitutional rights and the rights of the public access to the courts. So what does he do? This is his wonderful response. He decides to ignore my records, my request for a motion. Now, mindfully, I've been told that this is judicially wrong because of the time frames that passed and that I adhered to the time frames, and then I filed a new motion. So the judge, trying to cover his butt and cover Celeste Robertson's butt and cover the Apache County District Attorney's butt, has sealed all the records now when he had a chance to do this lawfully within 60 days. Now he is unlawfully deciding to make a ruling because he ignored the case and wanted to cause me harm. So we have this right here. This is the second page that they've done a background check, blah, 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 blah. It has been at least 60 days. It was 60 days. It was 120 some odd days. See, November 7th. Okay? Now, other requests, including indisposition 1026 motion, are denied as moot or irrelevant. Well, they're not irrelevant because you illegally ruled on this case. I filed another motion because you failed to do your job, and I wanted those issues addressed. Because you want to cover them up and you want to hide them, along with the clerk of the courts, who said that they mailed this to me, and then when I called the postal inspector, they never mailed it because they copy everybody's address and it's entered into a database. Every piece of mail that's sent from a specific post office, all of them, is put into a database. They do a great job of tracking mail. They can. It's awesome. So this guy that I've been given because of the problems at the local post office, I call him, tell him what my problem is. He looked it up, and the clerk of the courts never mailed it. She lied to me, and I have a recording of her on the phone telling me this morning at 8:30 that she did it. Just Justina, something like that. I don't remember her name. She refuses to give me her last name, but supposedly she's some supervisor. Once again, another part of the Apache County corruption, the political stuff. These people are paid by the taxpayers. We need to stop their jobs. They have no business. They have no integrity. They have nothing. So, my murder case that I'm supposedly guilty of, that the judge said, and the same judge who signed an order dismissing, and then won't hear nothing else about it, and then ignored the rules of the court, ignored my constitutional rights, ignored everything else in the process. How is this guy a judge when he doesn't understand his own rules? I don't get it. The judge has no clue about the rules of criminal procedure. He has no clue what the rules of the court are. None. None. And see, he signed this 11/6. And it was filed 11/7. Yeah. It looks like a 4-year-old wrote it. Anyways. But they mailed everything, electronic copy, to 3-4 different departments. They supposedly mailed it to me, and then when confronted that they didn't mail it, she emailed it to me. Wow. And I bet you they signed an affidavit. This is a legal court document, supposedly supposed to be given official notification. If I was a defense attorney, this would be misconduct. This would be punishable. Wow. And the corruption goes on. These people don't know how to be decent. Look at Round Valley. It's in shambles. It's shit. Nobody's proud to be from Round Valley at this point because of the problems. Look at the criminal. And if you don't think that this wasn't rubber stamped by the county court, they need to investigate every criminal case that Round Valley Police Department ever brought against anybody while those people were officers. Every last one of them. The criminal malfeasance, the lies and the BS, it goes on. So, this is my motion to seal. Unfortunately, I did that. It was ruled on after the legal amount of time was allowed, and it was done so the judge could hide this motion and not grant and turn over public record, because the clerk of the courts have refused to turn over any public record on my murder case, and they refused to turn over any discovery. So why is Judge Whiting working in conspiracy to cover up crimes? If they weren't crimes, he wouldn't be covering them up. So what does he have to hide? The Apache County Sheriff's Department, Joseph Dedman, he won't speak to me. I have requested a meeting with him. I don't think he's even in the office at this point. From what I'm told, I'm told that he is constantly intoxicated and driving around county vehicles and being rescued by sheriff's departments. I've been told that a lot. And they don't even know what a crime is because people allow that stuff. And I get regular phone calls that I'm going to be killed in a traffic stop. So, and they refuse to investigate that too. So once you put up a wall of denial, then you kind of know what's going on. So I'm going to post these links to these cases and do this stuff and show some of this stuff here and give you guys access to it. I'm tired of Apache County, and I'm tired of the corruption. I'm not moving just because the judge tried to coerce me to move illegally, of course. The district attorney tried to illegally coerce me to move, and the Apache County Sheriff's Department is trying to coerce me into taking a plea deal on the 310 case and to drop all of my other potential lawsuits against them and the county. I am not going to. I do have a healthy fear of my life being taken by Apache County Sheriff's Department. I do get regular phone calls from them telling me how they're going to kill me. It's kind of interesting. But we go from there. I'm not going to back down, even though I have a fear. It doesn't stop me. I'm going to do what's right. And if that means they kill me, I promise you I am not doing anything to instigate them. I'm just asking and demanding my rights. They will probably say that I'm committed suicide, which is totally untrue. I like my life, and these criminal injustice of Apache County that probably leads up to the county board supervisors, and with other people. I'm going to track them all the way down. I have nothing better to do with the rest of my life. And I'm going after Apache County for denying me medical care, the sheriff's department for threatening to kill me, and then promoting that officer, which is funny. It's funny. Everybody in my case who's lied on the stand has all been promoted. And I got proof that they lied, and the district attorney won't do nothing. So it's insanity. I literally have the court transcripts where Andrew Arona lied about checking the video and watching them reset from the property line, which never happens in the video. It's an open, flat-out Brady violation that the Apache County District Attorney will not address. Why is she covering up for him? We may have a new district attorney, but from her actions, she is just as criminal as the last one and just as corrupt. We're going down that path. They've actually hired I don't know how true this is or not, but somebody who has supposedly molested children is, because he is politically connected in this county, it's okay, and he is now a district attorney or a special prosecutor or a district attorney. I don't know which one he is, but that's the type of people they're hiring. Just like with the sheriff's department, they like people who go around and rape and break rules and file false police reports and look at Round Valley from the top to the bottom, and look at the mayor covering up, everybody covering up. They're still covering up. And if you don't think the sheriff's department was involved on it, pay attention to who backs up the Round Valley Police Department. It's the sheriff's department. Who handles the Round Valley dispatch? The sheriff's department. So they knew what was going on, and they chose to look another way. That makes it criminal too. So, God bless. Have a good day. I'm going to post links with this. I hate the injustice that this judge has, and he needs to be held accountable. And I'm going to jump through the steps, and I'm going to persist it with the state and the federal government to get this guy removed from the bench, because Apache County doesn't need this type of vindictive justice. If you do something wrong, fine. You do something wrong. Okay? Correct it, move on. This guy is horrible in so many ways that I've been told. And it's my opinion. I've watched him. He's told me to shut up. He's told me I don't have a right to a lawyer. He has violated every last one of my constitutional rights. Every one of them. And he's a judge. He is supposed to enshrine them. He is supposed to adhere to them. He is... it just... And now he's covering his butt. And here's the proof. That's why he wants to make my motions mute. Unfortunately, I filed a motion because he failed to do something. He can't go backwards. He actually has to address the motion. So there is now another legal problem that I'm going to be bringing up to the Supreme Court Justice of the state of Arizona and to the appellate court to move forward, because he's done everything wrong. And he needs to be spanked again. He was spanked over my jury trial, and I guess he didn't get the fact that I'm not going to give up a fight and I'm not going to take this shit. He thinks he gave me a bone. He didn't. He violated my constitutional rights. And as somebody who has served this country and somebody who has tried to defend people's constitutional rights and give everybody the equal opportunity to have constitutional rights, this man is horrible, in my opinion. And he shouldn't be a judge. He shouldn't be stealing $186,000 a year from the Apache County taxpayers. So, hopefully I'll win. Eventually I will. I'm never going to give up. I'm going to pursue this. Just like when the investigators tried to dig into my background and they had a wonderful conversation with somebody from 10 years ago who told them that you got nothing on him, go fuck yourself. And I think that's exactly what she said. So, have a good day. Have fun. You still got nothing. You're still getting nothing. And I'm still alive. Your death threats against me, Apache County Sheriff's Department, Andrew Arona, Joshua Pope, John Scruggs, and the rest of you fucking pogues. And yes, I said that. You try it. Unfortunately, everybody knows. Because I don't shut up, and I'm never going to. The more you tell me to shut up, the more I won't. And I am going to publish your court transcripts. Because now this case is sealed. So, I now have legal rights for the damages you did. What are you going to do to make them right? You have an opportunity here that isn't going to cost you a lot, but you got to make them right. And it's about the principle of things. So, we'll see what happens. But I know you'll still toe the line. All of you guys will, until it becomes so prevalent that you can't toe the line. And then you'll be thrown under the bus, just like Round Valley was and the people there. As you guys promoted, protected child rapists, people who beat each other up, and false police officers. And you keep protecting. And that's a fact. And now everybody knows it. So, everybody else, God bless. Have a good day. It's a sad day when you have to fight your government over the rights that you fought for and got injured on. Have a nice day.